guys doing?
Good.
East Palo Alto, California.
Down the road. Second, there was a what? A vehicle matching your description that was involved in an incident.
The officer told the driver he was speeding and that the vehicle matched the description of one involved in an incident.
Hey guys, you mind giving me your IDs?
Nah,
Let me see your ID.
you can't get my ID.
The teenage passenger is correct. Under settled case law, police engaged in a traffic stop are only entitled to the ID of the vehicle driver. They can ask passengers for ID, but the passengers can refuse.
Did I commit a crime, or am I being detained? I'm not even the one driving.
So the officer said the vehicle matching your description.
Dude,
So-
give him your ID.
Yeah, give me your ID.
I don't
right
have
now.
my ID on me.
You don't have your ID?
Nope.
You got your ID, bro?
Nah, I got ID.
Hey,
What's up?
when you in the car,
Yeah, but I'm not the one being detained. I'm not the one being detained, sir. I know my rights. My lawyer told me what to say. I have rights.
everybody in the car gonna get.
My lawyer told me what to say exactly
your
because
lawyer
this isn't the first time I've been
right
stopped.
Your lawyer's doing you a disservice.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
Dude,
What's up?
you don't go with the program, it's gonna be a long stop.
Shut up.
All right?
Yeah.
And then your buddy here gonna get a speeding ticket because of you. How's that? Now tell me your rights.
I still have rights.
Okay. We say nothing about your right. We're telling you to give us your
I don't
ID.
have my ID.
Then you should have one, right?
No, I shouldn't.
So Figueroa,
What?
your lucky day. You getting a ticket.
For what?
You didn't even clock him.
I want to see.
You and I can go to court on that, right?
Huh?
This car can't even go past 60.
We could go for it. I wasn't even speeding or anything.
He didn't even clock you. It's good. You can fight it. He doesn't have a radar gun. He didn't clock you.
That's cool if you don't have an ID. What's your name?
Nah, I'm not giving you my name. Not giving you anything. By law, I don't have to give you anything if I'm not being detained.
Yes, you do by law.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
By law, do I have to give you my name if I'm not being detained or I didn't commit a crime? I'm not even the one driving.
That you're in the vehicle that committed a crime.
No, it's
We
not.
didn't commit no crime.
You just accused me of committing a crime after he
I
just
said you're in
said.
the same vehicle that committed a crime. That's two different
How do you
things.
know it's this vehicle if he just said it's the description of the vehicle?
It doesn't matter what.
Do you have a license plate of
At
this
the very
car?
least, at the very least, he was speeding, right?
No, he was not. Did he clock him?
I know.
Detain me
Get
for
out of the
what?
car.
Nah, watch
Open
out.
the door, get out of the car.
For what?
Get out of the car.
Listening and obstructing.
Obstructing what?
You don't have any. You're being detained right now.
Detained for what? What crime did I commit?
Put down your phone. I'm taking your phone.
That was an unlawful detainment, and according to multiple reports, the East Palo Alto police officers involved in this stop were eventually reprimanded. This video is a couple of years old, but it is gaining traction again thanks to the police auditor community. Some of the nation's top constitutional rights activists have been linking to the video as a perfect example of a teenage passenger who knows his rights and police officers who do not. The fact is, the courts have repeatedly ruled that during a vehicle traffic stop, like for speeding or a missing taillight, only the driver is required to produce identification. The passengers are under no obligation to produce an ID or name themselves. If police have reasonable articulable suspicion that a passenger or passengers in the vehicle have committed a crime, at that point the police can demand ID and charge a passenger with obstruction if he or she refuses. However, police need to have evidence the passenger was involved in a crime. They cannot demand ID because they don't like the skin color of the passenger or the passenger's attitude. And as a reminder, all of us have a constitutional right to criticize the police to their face. I wouldn't suggest doing so because some police have fragile egos and care more about their own power than our constitutional rights. Nonetheless, some police interactions stand the test of time. So as always, keep those cameras rolling.
Mission citation for your speed, going at 80 and a 55. And you need to take the tint off your windows. So I just need to sign this white box here.
These teenagers have been stopped for speeding, but the passenger, who is just 17, is perplexed.
I have a question really quick.
Sure.
How are we getting a ticket for speeding if we were following you and your lights were not on?
Because I was trying to catch up to somebody.
But your lights
And why were you
on.
following me?
I'm saying you were in front of us and your lights weren't on, so we were going at your speed. So how are we getting a ticket?
The video from Facebook was first published by Abaya Israel, former police officer and sheriff's deputy. He runs the YouTube channel We the People University.
So how are we getting a ticket? Because your lights
you're
were on.
speeding.
But that means you were as well.
That's because I'm doing my job. I'm allowed to do that.
Without the lights on?
Without the lights on, said the girl. The question about whether police can speed without their lights and flashers on is one of the most common that drivers ask. As We the People University has underscored, the public tends to lose respect for police officers who do not follow the same laws and regulations the cops enforce in everybody else. Now, in most states, there is no hard and fast rule that says police must always have their lights and flashers on when speeding. In Michigan, for example, Section 257-603, Part 2 reads, "The driver of an authorized emergency vehicle when responding to an emergency call, but not while returning from an emergency call, or when pursuing or apprehending a person who has violated or is violating the law or is charged with or suspected of violating the law, may exercise the privileges set forth in this section." Part 3, "The driver of an authorized emergency vehicle may do any of the following: park or stand, irrespective of this act, proceed past a red or stop signal or stop sign, but only after slowing down as may be necessary for safe operation, exceed the prima facie speed limits so long as he or she does not endanger life or property, disregard regulations governing direction of movement or turning in a specified direction." In other words, if the officer is on a call, there's no regulation or requirement about lights and flashers. And some police may accelerate towards a speeding driver and only put their flashers on once directly behind that driver. Several traffic cops say that waiting until this moment actually creates fewer distractions for other drivers and is safer than having the lights, flashers, and sirens blaring the entire time. However, if a police officer is not on a call and is simply on patrol, most states require the police to obey speed limits and traffic rules. In the case of the teenagers, the young woman was right to be confused. If the officer was really speeding to catch up with somebody, the officer does not need to have his lights on. But if the cop was simply driving along the highway going 80 in a 55 zone just because, and didn't like the kids following him going the same speed, the police officer is a hypocrite who has broken state laws. In general, law enforcement departments and state highway patrol agencies encourage their officers to use flashing lights whenever speeding. And that's smart. For their own safety and reputation, police should not be putting themselves above the law. Unfortunately, some cops think that laws do not apply to them. This young woman was right to call out the traffic cop, and she did it in a manner that was both simple and epic.
I'm saying you were in front of us and your lights weren't on, so we were going at your speed. So how are we getting a ticket? Because your lights
you're
were on.
speeding.
But that means you were as well.
That's because I'm doing my job. I'm allowed to do that.
Without the lights on?